Hello, everyone. Welcome to Mayfly Disc Golf. Disc golf made by amateurs for amateurs. My name is Andrew, here with Mr. Randy May. How are you?
I'm great. How are you, Andrew?
I'm good. We're going to be doing some pretty fun coverage here. This is out at the OCU course in Edmond, Oklahoma. But we're, surprisingly enough, Mr. Randy May and Taylor Howman are not playing. We've got a feature card here. We've got Ron Olson, Jonathan Olson, and Chris Olson.
Yeah, I
These
just met up with these guys. They're from Emporia, and Dad came in town to see his son, and so here we go.
This is great. Hole one, par three, 272 feet. You can see that it's sort of a straight throw and the basket fades a little to the left here. Jonathan's going to do what I feel like a lot of players do, which is kind of a big backhand hyzer over the top and spike it into the ground next to the basket.
Yeah, Chris is doing the same thing, but he kind of got caught up in that big tree there, which happens a lot.
Yeah, it looked like the disc almost stabled out a little too much and started to turn over on him. Ron's throw here. And it's a great shot, honestly. Another big hyzer and really ends up in a great spot there.
So here comes Chris's upshot.
Decent.
Plinko.
Yeah, decent approach. From that tree, you still have about 40 feet to the basket, maybe a little more. That was
Ron looked like he was running that.
Yeah. Ron gave that a great bid. And now Jonathan's got his look here.
He has a really smooth upshot. Just buttery, man. He's fun to watch play.
That's awesome. All right. And it looks like Ron and Jonathan are both in for par, and Chris is in for a bogey.
Yep.
Excellent.
But I didn't get the bogey on there, so we're just going to give him that one.
And now we're looking
It was
at
Easter.
hole two.
What are you going to say?
Yeah. So now we're looking at hole two. It's a par three, 398 feet. You want to throw just a big bomb. You've got a nice long running tee pad here. You want the disc to kind of straighten out. Looks like Jonathan actually is throwing sort of a turnover backhand, which was an interesting play.
He'll throw a lot of turnover backhand, little flexy shots throughout this round, and pretty fun to watch.
Yeah, that's great.
So
Chris here with
interesting, Andrew. These guys being from Emporia, all their discs are dynamic, and which I'm not real familiar with dynamic discs that much. I know you and I were at the pro shop in Emporia one time and bought some stuff, but I don't remember what disc we bought. Was it a Ballista or something?
So yeah, we bought, surprisingly enough, despite, being at a dynamic disc store, they also had a lot of Latitude 64. So we had bought several Ballistas. I bought an Explorer that I kept in my bag for quite some time. But no, I mean, dynamic, even just within the past, year or so, they've come out with some really great plastic, really consistent plastic, that people have really come to love. I mean, the new Orbit plastic is incredible. I know Ricky's really happy being back with dynamic. So
yeah, they finished this hole pretty good. Par three on hole three.
Yeah, this is 268 feet. Pretty straightforward. See a lot of people throwing a forehand, just like what Jonathan's doing here.
It's snake through those trees.
No kidding. I can't wait to see where his lie is. Here's Chris with a nice backhand.
Got a little high.
Yeah, honestly, that area is still not a bad place to be.
And I think Ron was going for the same tree.
Yeah.
So he didn't have some level footing there when he threw that, bless his heart. And
Oh man, it's a great jumper from Chris. Puts himself within probably 20 feet of the basket, maybe shorter.
yeah, this is a big course, Andrew. This course is almost 6,200 feet. It's about a 3.5 mile walk to finish it, and at least an hour and 45 minutes if you're playing with a couple of people. With three people, it's even longer.
Yeah.
It's a tough course.
Yeah. And obviously this is my first time getting to watch the kind of the Olsen family play, but watching Ron's putt is so interesting. Reminds me, it's so old school, trying to throw somewhat of kind of like a bigger hyzer and letting it, fade slightly into the basket. You don't see a lot of people doing it. I mean, you'll see people
Garrett Gurthey, yeah.
Garrett Gurthey, but it's definitely old school, and I think that's really cool, something to appreciate. So on hole 4 here, what you're wanting to do is exactly what Jonathan's about to do here, is throw a big anhyzer.
Look at this shot
around this tree, and that is a great shot.
That is a great
that's
shot.
Incredible.
And
that's
might talk about the double mando on this.
Yeah, so it's got a double mandatory between these two trees here. Looks like Chris's disc didn't get quite enough turn, or maybe it was just a little too stable. And Ron actually threw a nice kind of flat shot. It was pretty clean. I mean, obviously he's still got some work to the basket, but honestly, if you can make the mandatory, you're, putting yourself in good position.
If you watch Ron and Chris shoot, they both have this kind of swoosh when they throw it, which I see people do. It's interesting.
Yeah. So the reason that that happens with certain players and the way that they drive, depending on how much power they put in, what they do is they actually create sort of an arc in their arms. So they go from their reach back being at the top of their shoulder, and then they swing it down to their waist. And so it creates this, this automatic lift out of the disc and gives it a little extra love. You can see it pretty commonly with Matty O. He actually does, despite his form being very non-traditional, he does get that same kind of flight pattern out of his discs. And
our buddy Nick does that too.
Yeah. And these guys, honestly, they played this hole really well. It was really consistent, and I think Jonathan definitely, he seems like he knows the course a little bit more than probably Chris and Ron do.
It's funny you said that. He used to play this course back before the new design came in. So, go ahead.
That's incredible. So hole 5, it's 368 feet, par 3. You can see the basket there just past this little grouping of trees. You're just going to see either people go straight towards the trees and try and get lucky.
Like that.
Just like that. Or you'll see them try and play around the trees, throwing either a big forehand or a big hyzer, big backhand hyzer around the tree line. And so, Randy, what was the wind like this day?
It was not a lot, maybe 8. It was. I love a little bit of wind, so see, he kind of got that nose up. Chris did.
Yeah,
but still got a good distance on it.
Yeah, that was actually plenty of distance. I think if you can reach the tree line, then you're playing pretty well for a par.
That was a great upshot for Ron.
That was
he
an
was
awesome
way
one.
out there.
Yeah. Yeah,
Chris
it's a bit of
missed his line on that one.
Yeah, it seemed like it was just slightly off. Maybe just didn't anticipate the hyzer that much.
Oh, that could have been a birdie.
That was a great bid.
Ron's going to go for the big up shot too.
Also a good bid. I love that type of putting style. I mean, it just takes so much finesse, and you don't see it with people very often. So that's really cool.
I'll tell you, these guys, they were so nice and friendly, and just it was a pleasure to shoot their round and just see father and son playing golf together. It's great.
Yeah, that's awesome. So hole 6 here, it's a fairly short hole. Backhand with a little bit of turnover, is what you'll see out of a lot of players, mostly throwing mid-ranges, something that'll kind of hold the line. But actually exactly where Jonathan's at, that's kind of a perfect spot. It looks like Chris might have just released this a little bit late.
Yeah, he did.
And that's actually not bad position for Ron. I think that left side's a little open to the basket, so he actually might have it'll be an approach, but it'll be a look at the basket.
Now, I don't know why somebody put some orange tape on that light pole there, but I think it looks nice. No, I think for tournaments and stuff, that's a Mando, and probably the path is OD. But, when you're out having fun playing disc golf, sometimes you don't want to worry about the Mandos and all the ODs and all that. You want to play your game and try to feel like you're having a good score, a good time.
Yeah, definitely.
That was a nice putt.
Yeah, great clean putt.
Yeah, Chris and Jonathan had really nice putts.
Yeah. Do you know about how long they've been playing? Have they been playing for quite a while, or?
I really didn't ask them. I tried not to talk to them too much through the round. I had to focus on trying to run the camera, so.
Yeah, definitely. Well, moving on to hole 7 here. It's 350 feet. Straight from the tee pad, you've got some small trees that kind of come into play. But for the most part, as long as the wind's, doing okay, you can pretty much throw any shot here. So a forehand out of Jonathan here.
And that was a great shot, and he just barely clipped that tree. Man, that thing would have made it all the way up to the basket.
I was kind of wondering, it looked like it flipped up and was kind of working itself pretty well. Ron's got a great throw here.
Yeah, that's a good place to be.
Yeah.
I think Chris hits that tree too, which is just really unfortunate. They need to move that tree over a little bit.
Yeah, if they could just move it maybe 2 or 3 inches, then.
Yeah. So he had a really long upshot.
Yeah, that was a long upshot. And Ron's got a long upshot as well.
Mm-hmm.
And that might be a look for the par. We'll see.
And what's interesting about this course right now, Andrew, is back when you and I were playing it, when you were here, it was more during the winter and fall, and so the grass wasn't up, so you could get some good skips.
Mm-hmm.
But you're not getting skips. Oh, nice bid.
Oh, great bid for that par. Yeah, it looks, it's funny that the course does, I didn't even notice this, but it looks a lot more lush and green, so I would imagine that you're not going to get a lot of ground play on the course. It's a good bid for Ron as well. A little different from the standard, big putt, but, that's all right. And that's a great par for Jonathan.
Mm-hmm.
Unfortunate, hitting the tree, but, still, if you can get yourself clean off of the, get a clean, par in, then you put yourself in a good position. Hole 8 is 376 feet. It's a par 3. I personally don't like this hole, Randy.
The key to this hole, Andrew, is stay in the fairway.
Yeah, and that's what's tough is like you think it's as simple as, saying stay in the fairway, throw something flat and straight, but then you throw something flat and straight, you don't give it enough power, so then you're 90 feet short of the basket, and you only throw 290 feet. These trees off here to the right really kind of are a point of contention because if you turn the disc over too much in the fairway, then they hit the trees. So it's a tough hole. I think it's tougher than what people expect. And honestly,
I can't
these
par
guys,
it.
yeah, it's a tough par. It is.
I mean,
And
I
these guys,
parred it, but it's a tough one.
yeah, and they honestly, all three of them actually put themselves in pretty good position. I mean, again, if you can at least get a par and get clean, then that's great. But on this particular hole, it's fairly tough.
Yeah, I think they'll eventually come in there and clean all that stuff out of there. This is, for you people that don't know, OC used to be a shorter course, and then they put the back none on the other side and redid the course. Nice tee pads. They don't have signage out yet, so it's still a work in progress.
Yeah, definitely. That's a great putt from Jonathan.
Yeah.
Nice clean putt. Same with Chris. That was a great putt as well. All right. So hole 9 is going to be a par 3, 423 feet. It's a big, long one. I feel like, actually, Randy, tell me how you play this hole, because I've only played it a couple of times and I never really got this hole right.
I'm going to play it just like Jonathan does right here. Because you want to get out around those trees, and then you want your disc to come back up underneath them so that you can get a look at the basket.
Gotcha.
But if you stay really far right on this hole, even past that little mound of whatever that is on the right side of that, there's actually a really good look into the basket without the trees in the way. I don't know if they're going to create an OB line for that, but this is the typical play, I think.
Yeah, I guess, just be a little off to the left on the fairway and then give yourself a look. The basket's kind of tucked between some trees, and so it is a bit difficult trying to get to the basket, but
yeah, it's well guarded.
Yeah, it definitely is. It's probably one of the most well guarded holes on this course. That was a great approach from Jonathan. Very clean in between those two trees. I mean, that's a tight gap. Like that's not something easy.
No, Chris has a great step putt. Wait till you see him on 18. He throws one 120, 130 step putt.
Wow.
Yeah. So they're going to finish this one up pretty good. I mean,
yeah, I think, these are going to be pretty standard, for casual players and stuff. I mean, this is going to be pretty standard scoring. I don't, I think OCU is, it's, despite it being kind of a newer course and having a newer course design, it's still fairly difficult. I mean, I definitely feel like they've gauged it more towards intermediate players.
Get on the back nine and come and watch it, would you?
Yeah, we'd really appreciate you guys giving us a like and a subscribe, and we'll see you guys on the back nine here.
Peace out. Thanks, Andrew.